At the beginning of September, I'm going to be back in school to complete my Master of Divinity at Wycliffe College, which is an evangelical Anglican school at the University of Toronto. I had finished over a third of my degree before dropping out due to burnout in December 2023.
I just dropped out of school.
But since then, I sold my long-term business, Gospel eBooks, took the time to refresh, and now I'm re-energized to finish up.
I'm pumped! Let's do this.
In this video, I'm going to briefly go over the 3 courses that I'm taking this semester. I'll tell you the course name, the professors, the course textbooks, some of the major assignments, and I'll also explain why I'm taking it or what I'm excited to learn in each class. Let's begin. The first class I'm taking is 1 Corinthians with Dr. Stephen Chester. Professor Chester is best known for his book Reading Paul with the Reformers, Reconciling Old and New Perspectives, which was published by Eerdmans. It won the Christianity Today Book of the Year Award for 2018 in the Biblical Studies category. And his latest book is Paul Through the Eyes of the Reformers, Living Under Grace, which was also published by Eerdmans but in 2025. Chester's expertise is the book of 1 Corinthians, which he did his doctoral thesis on. It was titled Conversion at Corinth, an exploration of the understanding of conversion held by the Apostle Paul and the Corinthian Christians. That thesis was later published by T&T Clark. Chester is my academic advisor, and so I've spoken with him privately before, but I actually haven't had a class with him, so I'm looking forward to learning from him. The 2 textbooks for this course are Christianity at Corinth, The Quest for the Pauline Church, which was published in 2004, and Gordon Fee's 1 Corinthians commentary. I've consulted the Fee commentary numerous times, which is seen as the gold standard for 1 Corinthians commentaries. The other book I have not read yet. The major assignments of this course are 2 smaller papers of 1,000 words. The first is on the background of 1 Corinthians, and then the second is a choice between 3 topics on homosexuality in 1 Corinthians 6, women in worship in 1 Corinthians 11, or the gifts of the Spirit in 1 Corinthians 14. Then there's a major exegetical paper at the end, which is 4,000 words long. I have the freedom to choose the text as well as the thesis topic there. Now, I chose this course as one of my elective classes. For those who don't know anything about me, my area of expertise is on 1 Corinthians 11 on the subject of head covering, and I've written a book on the topic. I'm planning on re-recording and updating the head covering movement's old YouTube videos, as well as creating some new ones. And since I'm going to be doing that, I wanted to refresh myself, as well as have some new inspiration. Though I've already spent a lot of time studying 1 Corinthians, as well as the historical and cultural background, I'm not coming in here thinking I have nothing to learn. Dr. Chester knows more about this book than I do, and therefore I have a lot that I can learn from him, even if he doesn't share my conclusions on head covering. Plus, the refresher will be helpful for me. The next class is Evangelism Remixed with Professor Jeremy McClung and John Bowen. Normally this class would be just with Professor McClung, but this semester we're getting Professor Bowen as co-teacher, which I'm very excited about. Bowen was the previous teacher of evangelism at Wycliffe College from 1997 until his retirement in 2016, so I wasn't expecting to get to learn from him. He previously spent 25 years serving with InterVarsity Christian Fellowship in universities and was awarded a special Lambeth Award in the area of evangelism and witness by the Archbishop of Canterbury in 2021. He's most well known for his book Evangelism for Normal People, Good News for Those Looking for a Fresh Approach, published in 2002 by Fortress Press. His most recent book is The Unfolding Gospel, published in 2021, also by Fortress Press. Jeremy McClung is the transitional director of Wycliffe's Institute of Evangelism. He's not a published author, but he is an experienced pastor and church planner with a gospel focus. He spent 25 years in pastoral ministry, including church planning for 14 years. His PhD dissertation was entitled Preaching for Grateful Response. McClung summarized his dissertation in 3 minutes for a general audience and won first place. This was done by video. He titled it Ridding the World of Angelas, which is a play on Angela from the TV show The Office, who's an uptight, self-righteous hypocrite who is also a Christian. So it talks about how to avoid the twin ditches of hypocrisy and judgmentalism. I appreciated his gospel-centered focus, which definitely built up some early trust with him. I've never spoken with him before, but I get the feeling from that video and his pastoral background that he's a gospel-centered guy, which I like. The two textbooks for this course are John Bowen's The Unfolding Gospel, which I just mentioned, as well as Judith Paulson's book, A New and Ancient Evangelism, Rediscovering the Ways God Calls and Sends, which was published by Baker Academic in 2024. Both those textbooks are by Wycliffe professors. Bowen, as I mentioned, is co-teaching this class, and Judith Paulson was the previous director of evangelism after Bowen retired, but she retired herself in 2023. For assignments, we have to do a book report on Paulson's book, a presentation on a true story describing how someone came to faith, whether someone we know personally or a public figure. We also have a major Bible study project where I have 4 short Bible studies with an unbeliever on the Gospel of Luke, and I write a report on how these studies went. Then finally, there's a larger paper of 2,100 to 2,700 words, which is an integration paper talking about what I've learned in class and how I'm going to apply it in ministry. Now, I'm doing this class primarily because it's one of the required courses for my MDiv degree. However, when I re-enrolled in school, the dean encouraged me to prioritize this class as he thought that Professor McClung would be a good mentor for me and help as I go down the path of Anglican church planning. McClung isn't Anglican himself, but he has a wealth of knowledge both academically and practically. So I was following the dean's advice and taking it my first semester back. It was a pleasant surprise to know that I would get John Bowen too, so the timing couldn't be better. The final class I'm taking this semester is the History of Christianity, which covers the Apostolic Age to the year 843. This ending date represents the triumph of orthodoxy in the Eastern Mediterranean world, and the Treaty of Verdun at the end of the Carolingian revival in the West. My professor is B. Andrew Song, who is an adjunct professor. He is a senior fellow of the Andrew Fuller Center for Baptist Studies and an associate editor of the Journal of Andrew Fuller Studies. He received his PhD in 2023 from the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. He's the author of one book, Training Laborers for His Harvest, published in 2015. He also serves as adjunct faculty at several Canadian seminaries such as Redeemer University, Carey Theological College, Heritage Seminary, and the Toronto Baptist Seminary's Chinese campus. For textbooks, there's one secondary source, which is an overview of Christian history. I've got that up on the screen. And then everything else is primary sources, such as Augustine's Confessions, Basil the Great's On the Holy Spirit, and Gregory the Great's The Book of Pastoral Rule. Half of my course's grade is from reading primary sources and answering questions on the readings. Another requirement is the memorization of the Nicene Creed and the Chalcedonian definition. The Nicene Creed will come easy for me as we sing it regularly at my church, but the definition I'll have to put in some work to memorize. This is another one of the required courses for my MDiv degree. However, it's a course I'm really looking forward to taking. I absolutely love church history and read it in my spare time. There's a lot of reading for this class, and I think this class in particular is going to inspire the most amount of videos for my channel. I do plan on doing some more overviews, like for example, I have to read the 7 letters of Ignatius and summarize the key points. I plan to turn that into a video. And as I hear great stories or facts, I'll make sure to post them on social media and turn many of them into videos as well. Now, my plan for school moving forward is to sync up my class studies with my video creation. Meaning if I'm studying a topic or writing a paper for class, I'll likely make videos out of it based on what I'm researching and writing on. I still will do standalone videos on random topics when interest strikes or when there's a topic that needs covering from the news cycle, but I'm not going to start any brand new big research projects. You still will see a larger series on head covering coming up, as well as one on the Christian calendar, but the work for those has already been done this summer. I'm planning to continue my pace of 1 to 2 new full-length videos each week, in addition to shorts throughout the week. So you can look forward to some new videos in the upcoming months on church history, evangelism, and 1 Corinthians. I'll take the most interesting and profound things that I learn and then communicate them to you through video. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click like as a way to say thanks. If you want more content like this in your feed, click subscribe directly below me. See you in the next video.